In this video, we're going to talk about a few different ways in which you can build your no-code app. We're going to talk about some components of outsourcing, some components of DIY or do-it-yourself. And we've talked about this in the past, but we've more so touched on some of the really specifics of each different path you could take. And in this video, we're going to do an overview of everything so that you can get a really good idea of how you should be building your app in a way that aligns with your specific goals. And a lot of people get this wrong. We see it happening all the time. Someone chooses a path in which they want their app to be built or in which they want to build their app. And it ends up not really being what they want on the other side. And so they have to start over. And we don't want that for you. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Now, make sure you stick around till the end, because we also put together a download that is going to take this conversation many steps further and actually tie in numbers and costs, both immediate and long-term costs of different paths you could take in your development. It's going to just take this conversation further. So we'll talk about that at the end. So make sure to stick around for it. Now, first, if you're new around here, my name is Kristen, and I'm the co-founder of Coaching No Code Apps, where we help business owners and industry experts build custom apps to either start their app-based businesses or grow their existing businesses, all without coding and with no technical background required. And with that, it's the perfect segue into our conversation. If you are one of those people, how should you be building your app? You don't have a technical background, so you've stepped into the no-code space, but there are still a few different paths you can take. So what I'm going to do is share my screen, and we're going to jump over to the whiteboard here and go through this really in depth. So there are two main paths you can take to build your app. So you have what we call the done for you path, and then we have the do it yourself path. So the DFY, done for you, and the do it yourself, DIY. So this is pretty simple. For the done for you path, essentially you're outsourcing the development of your app to an agency or a freelancer or a team of freelancers. And with the DIY path, you're building the app yourself. Now, when you're in the no code space, you can still do either of these. Just because the app is being built without code doesn't mean you have to build it yourself. A lot of people still want to outsource the development and just really just kind of reap the benefits of the no code space in general, being able to move more quickly, having an easier time managing the app long term, potentially even being able to go in and make maybe some minor tweaks and adjustments on their own over the long haul. So you can still outsource your app, but you have to choose the path that's right for you and that aligns with your goals. Now, please don't overlook this or brush past this, because again, a lot of people do, and it ends up wasting them a lot of time and money down the road once they realize they chose the wrong path. So when you are outsourcing, you can do it a couple of different ways. Like I said, let's get some different colors here. You can outsource to an agency, and you can outsource to freelancers. Now, when it comes to looking at the goals you have for your application, each one of these is going to give you something different. If you're outsourcing to an agency, it's going to cost more. Agencies generally have a lot more resources, they have more streamlined processes, they have more robust businesses, and they're going to cost more money. And the time, this is a stopwatch, kind of. The time it takes for an agency to build your app is generally going to be faster. It's not going to take as long because they have all those resources. They have the processes in place. They have streamlined. So you can generally have your app built more quickly, but it's going to cost you more money. Now, you have to ask yourself, what are your goals? Do you want to spend potentially a really significant amount of money over the long haul on your app? Because you have to pay, obviously, to build the first version of your app, but then you're going to have to continue paying for as long as your app is up and running for the maintenance, the management, the iterations, the updates to that app. And that won't go away. If you've outsourced the development, that's never going to go away. And so, are you willing and are you ready to pay that amount of money over the long haul with your app? You have to ask yourself that, because a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to shell out X amount of money for the development of the MVP. And that's as far as they think. But then once they do get to the other side and they realize, oh, wait, I have now all these recurring costs if I ever want to change the app at all, they start to think a little bit differently. Now, for some people, that's okay. Those ongoing recurring costs, that's totally fine, because they would rather spend their money to save their time. They're okay spending money now, spending money later, spending money forever, just so that they never have to touch it. And if that's your goal, to never have to touch the app, then this is a really good path for you to take. You just have to know that it's going to obviously cost a lot more money than any other path you might take. Okay. Now, when you look at freelancers, and caveat here is that I'm generalizing. I'm generalizing here because I sort of have to. There are going to be really great agencies out there, and there are also going to be agencies that maybe are not so great. That's just kind of the reality. And so it's the same with freelancers. There are going to be really great freelancers out there, and there are going to be freelancers that aren't so great. So I'm just generalizing here when I say that agencies are going to build a more high quality app. They're going to build it faster, but it's going to cost more, because that's generally the case. With freelancers, you're looking at a lower cost, all right? So it's not going to cost you as much, because the freelancers don't have all the resources. They don't have all the processes. They don't have all the streamlined processes in place. Okay, so it's usually, a one man, one woman show, that type of thing. And the time is going to go up in terms of how long it takes a freelancer to build your app, because again, it's a one person show and it's just going to take longer. Now, if you've found a really fantastic freelancer, it might take even longer, because there's probably going to be a higher demand. In that case, the price is going to go up a little bit. So again, we're generalizing here. There are some kind of discrepancies, but you're going to be looking at a lower cost, a longer time frame, and generally a lower quality app if you're looking at low cost freelancers. So some people try to get around the cost of an agency by just outsourcing to really low cost freelancers. It doesn't generally end well. Usually they get a product in return that isn't what they thought it was going to be. It's not something they can really move forward with. And I'm just speaking from the feedback that we've gotten from people who have come to us to help kind of pick up the pieces on the other side. Again, generalizing here, but that's sort of what you can expect. If you are trying to really cut costs, but you still want to outsource, you have to expect to compromise on the quality of the app, the amount of time it takes to build, and so on. You can find a really good freelancer, but they're going to cost a lot more. It could even be similar to an agency. So in terms of goals, though, at the end, it's still going to be the same. Do you want to pay just to have your time back, just to not have to do anything with the app? And if that's the case, are you willing, able, happy to pay long term for the long haul, for as long as your app is up and running. Because one thing we see people doing is saying, hey, I'm going to outsource the development of my app initially, and then I'm going to learn how to use these no-code tools. And then on the other side, I'm just going to take over and continue iterating and building and managing it from there. That is so much harder than it sounds. It's not usually a path we would recommend because, number one, the app might not have been built very well if you have gone, the outsourcing route where you're doing it as cheaply as possible. But even if you do get a really quality app in return and everything has been built correctly, it's really hard to take over someone else's development because everyone does things a little bit differently. There's not always a kind of a black and white way to do things with development. Everyone has their own styles and their own techniques. And so if you try to come in on the other side after just learning some basics, you're going to have a really hard time. And so if you're going the done for you DFY, the outsourcing route, I would encourage you to anticipate that being the case forever. For as long as you have your app, that's what you're going to be doing. Be realistic with yourself. Don't just expect that you'll be able to really easily take over the app afterwards, because we don't usually see that being the case. So again, goals here, just if your goal is just to never touch the app, then that's what you have to be comfortable doing. That's what you have to expect. And that's just kind of what you have to plan for. And, do you want to go the agency route or the more expensive route? Are you happy to invest a little bit more to get the benefits of the faster time, the higher quality and all of that? Or do you want to outsource as cheaply as you can and then sacrifice on those things? So figure out what aligns with your goals. None of this is to say that the outsourcing path, the cheaper outsourcing, the more expensive, none of this is to say that those are wrong. If they align with your goals, if you don't mind having a lower quality product because maybe you're not, maybe you are just looking to get a really quick prototype that doesn't have much functionality. You just kind of want to show it off to some people, maybe to some partners or investors or whatever, and the functionality just doesn't really matter. Well, okay, but you really just have to align it with your goals, and you have to set your expectations so that you don't get to the other side and realize, oh, now I have to start over, because that's what we want you to avoid, of course. Okay, so when we get over to the DIY path, this is where we split off into a couple of sub paths. So one of them is the straight DIY, where you really are doing it yourself. And then another path, and this is a path that we have sort of created after doing all of these and seeing, what can really help people get the results that aligns with their goals and all of that. We also have the done with you path. So we have the DIY path and the DWY path. Now, with both of these, you're the one building the app. So the control is in your hands. You're the one who is doing the development work, but each of them is going to be a little bit different. Now, if you go the DIY route, this is what we're going to call done completely yourself, really. So it's done completely with you in the driver's seat. Now, with this, it's going to be a lot cheaper, okay? Because you're not paying for help. You're not paying for someone to do the development. You're not paying for someone to come in and help you or act as a partner or something like that. So it's naturally going to be a lot cheaper. But you have to understand that the quality of the app is going to be lower. It's just there's not really a way around this unless, unless a caveat here, you don't really mind spending a really long time. I'm not going to try to draw my stopwatch again. If you are happy for the development of your app to take a year, for example, you can still build a really quality app. It might take you building it a few times, you know, building and learning along the way, and then rebuilding after you've kind of gotten to the other side and learned all of this new information, you know, going through several iterations, learning new things as you go, spending a long amount of time, really having no deadline, not being in a rush to launch or anything like that. If that's what you're happy with, then you can still come out with a higher quality app. But again, it's just going to take you a lot longer. Now, with the DIY route where you're doing the development, you're building your app, you're launching your app completely on your own, you still can get some help, and you likely already are if you're in this space. If you're watching this video, you can watch tutorials, for example. You can watch videos. You can get courses. We have courses that are completely self-led. It's completely DIY. And they help you just get some of those technical fundamentals down so that you can build the app yourself and invest a lot less. It's really beneficial if that's really your goal. Do you want to build the app as cheaply as possible? Well, then you can go the DIY route. You can still invest in some courses or some training that's still self-led, so it's still DIY. It's still going to be cheaper than working with someone. If that's your goal or that's your ultimate priority, then this can be the right path for you. But you have to understand that it's going to take you a lot longer to get a high quality app. It's going to take a lot longer to get a high quality app. I'm going to emphasize that because we see people going this route and they think, this is really cheap. It's no code. I can do it all myself, and we're off to the races. That's it. I don't have to spend a bunch of money now or over the long run or anything like that. But they usually come out on the other side realizing, oh, this is taking a lot longer than I had thought. So if you're okay with that, then this can be a really great path for you. If you want to really just cut costs as much as possible, but just understand that the quality of the app is going to be lower. It's going to take you a lot longer. So what is your priority and what is your goal? This will help you be able to remain in the driver's seat for the long run, which is a big benefit because then you don't have to rely on outside developers to do any of the maintenance management iterations of your app as you launch and as you grow and scale it. That control can be in your hands. But again, think about the quality and the time. Once you launch and now you start building new features that maybe you hadn't learned how to build when you were creating the first version, now that you have users on board and you need to start iterating the app, it's still going to take you longer because you're still learning as you go. Are you okay with that? Are you okay not being able to implement your users' feedback as quickly as they might want? Are you okay kind of taking your time? Okay, so you have to think long term too. And again, that's where we see a lot of people going wrong is they think, okay, with the done for you route, I'm investing maybe a significant amount of money up front, but then that's all they're thinking about. They don't think about the long term. With the DIY, okay, it's cheaper up front, but then they're not thinking about the long haul. What about when you have users on board? Now you need to iterate, or you need to do some fixes that you haven't learned how to do yet, and all of these things. Okay, so just keep in mind all of these things to make sure that you're okay with the now and the later. Okay, now on the other side, we have the DWY, or the done with you. This is where you are still in the driver's seat. You're still building the app, but there's someone helping you along the way. Now, we have a mentorship program that fits within this. And this is where we give our clients the training so that they can have that sort of that DIY component. But we also give them us essentially, where we act as their partners, right? And we're not taking equity in their business or anything like that, so it's not like that type of a partnership. It's just us coming in and saying, hey, you're the one who's going to be in control. We're going to help you do that now, and we're going to help you get set up for that in the long run too. Now, when you are going this route, it is going to cost more than the DIY route, or the total DIY route, naturally, right? Because now you're working directly with people to help you. And on the other side, it's also, let me get a different color. It's also going to, actually, let me zoom out a little bit. And so we can look at the done for you, the DFY as well. So the done with you, it's going to cost more than the DIY, but it's going to cost less than the done for you, right? Generally, it's kind of like a mix of these two. It is going to take longer generally than the done for you. If you were to go with an agency and you're kind of looking for that speed, it's going to take longer because you're the one who's building it. So you have to, you have to go through the process of being able to do that. But it's going to be faster, right, than the total DIY route, right? Naturally, because you're not doing it alone. And in terms of the quality of the app, this is kind of like a mix of the two as well. Generally, if you're outsourcing to an agency and they're doing the work for you, they've done, they've built a bunch of apps in the past, they have streamlined processes and on and on and on. The quality is generally going to be pretty high. Now, if you're the one building your app, that is going to go down a little bit. But if you have someone helping you, it's going to at least keep it pretty much on par with that done for you path. There's still a learning process, right? When we talk about the total DIY, we talk about how, it's going to take multiple iterations of building your app because you're learning on your own as you go. It's not going to be the same with the done with you. It's not going to be as fast to get up to that same quality level as if you were to outsource to a really high quality agency. But it's going to be closer to that because it's having that same, quality of agency help give you the power instead. So you're kind of finding a balance between everything here. Now, in terms of goals, who is this right for? Well, if you don't like the idea of having to spend money every single month, essentially, on retainers or teams of developers to maintain and manage and update your app over the long haul, if you don't want to do that, then this can be a really good path for you. If you are happy to get your hands into the app, your own hands, if that's something that you want to do, then this can be a really good path for you. And the DIY can be a good path for you if you want to get your hands on it as well. But you can see here that it's kind of like a balancing act with everything. And that's why I wanted to make this video where we go over all of them and compare everything, because there isn't one right or wrong answer. There never is. The done for you, this can be the wrong answer for a lot of people. For the people who really want control in their hands, they don't want to have to rely on outside developers forever. They don't want to be essentially handcuffed to an agency or a developer for the entire lifetime of their app. For those people, the done for you path is not the right one. But for the people who don't want to touch their app, they don't have an interest in doing that, they're happy to spend the money just to get it off their own plate, well, then go the done for you route. Just make sure that you're happy to make that ongoing investment over time. Make sure you set your expectations. And then when we look at the DIY and the DWY, these paths, either one of these is right for the type of person who wants to be in the driver's seat, who wants the control, who wants to be able to iterate, manage, update their app over the long haul, who doesn't want to be connected or reliant on developers. This is the path for you. This is the one you would want to go. But when you dig a little bit deeper, you still have to look at your kind of like underlying goals beneath that. Are you happy to invest a little bit more upfront so that you can get the higher quality app sooner? And so that you can have that skill set developed that allows you to move more quickly on the other side once you have your users on board, right? So do you still have the priority of the speed and the quality? Do you want to launch more quickly, right? Do you want to scale and grow the app sooner? Do you want to build traction sooner? All of these things. If those are your priorities, but you still want to be in the driver's seat, well, then this done with you option is going to be the most ideal for you. But if that speed and that quality, if that's not as important to you right now, or if you're happy, if you're happy to spend a longer amount of time developing that, if you're happy to kind of go through the iterations, tinker, learn as you go, rebuild the app a few times, and that type of thing. If you're not in a rush to launch, if you're not looking to build the soonest, quickest traction possible, but you still want to maintain control, right? Well, then this is going to be the path for you. You just have to align the immediate and the long term with your goals. And I know I've said that at least 5 times already in this video, but I'm emphasizing it again because we see so many people not really thinking about the next steps. And you can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of effort, potentially a lot of money, if you just understand which path aligns with your goals, right now and moving forward as well. So hopefully that gives you more of an in-depth and all-encompassing insight into this. Now, I know we didn't talk about pricing and specifics on that because there's just a ton to go into. And there's lots of little caveats, just like we've gone through here, obviously. There's lots of just weighing the pros and cons that you need to look through. So like I said at the beginning, we do have a download that we created that does go into all of that. It goes into the pricing that you can expect for agencies, for the immediate development of your app, and for the long-term ongoing development. Same thing with the DIY, with the DWY. It goes into all of that. And so if you want to check that out, you can download that on our website over at coachingnocodeapps.com/white paper. It's white-paper. You'll head over to this page and you can download it here. And then once you download it, you can see here, it covers a lot. It's going to kind of go back through and give a refresher over everything we just went through in this video, and then it's just going to go a lot deeper. So again, if you want to go ahead and download that so that you can go through all of those costs and all of those expectations, or setting the expectations for yourself, you can head to coachingnocodeapps.com/white paper, white-paper, and check that out there. All right, I know we covered a lot in this and we went into lots of little details and nuances and everything, but hopefully this is helpful for you. I know a lot of people are looking for information like this so that they can make these decisions for themselves and make the decisions correctly. So again, I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.